Did she remind you of yourself when you did meet her certain things?
She sure did, because before I came in the industry, I was a hustler. Anybody know about me, they know I was a fly girl before I came in the industry. You know what I mean? I always had, all of the gangster dudes taking care of me, and I've always was Gucci's, and now even before I came into the industry, and always pushed that flyers card. So everybody knew about me, and she reminded me so much when I met her by bringing the Maybachs out, and she just was showing me she was a boss even without a deal. You know what I mean?
Wow. And she
and
looks
I loved her.
Yeah, she's so attractive, which is like, I mean, I'm not saying that's needed, but that's like a plus. And then she knows how to rhyme. When I caught the rap fix when y'all both were on there, and she actually ripped it. Sway always puts people on blast. Yo, you rhyming
Yeah,
like.
do.
And you be like, oh shit. You be like A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Like you be looking crazy. But she held it down without cursing.
Yeah, she did. She definitely held it down. That pen pal line was my favorite line. And so she even surprised me with that. Usually she'll let me know like what she gonna do. She's like, nah, watch, I ain't gonna tell you. I said okay. Surprised me with that. I was like, okay.
How does it feel to be in our DNA? Because that era is gone. Now it's like you can't remember last year's hit. It's like all computer shit. But I'm glad you're part of my. My blood, my little blood system here. There's a little Kim in my body.
With the real hip hop 90s.
I mean, that era is a rap, but like
yeah.
And then
you know what? That's the one thing about me, though. Like even when I do this next album, it's like everybody, my people, my fans still love me and they still waiting for me because they know that I always reinvent myself and I know how to change with the times. Like I love a lot of the new music that's out now, and I've always loved it. So the problem was that, when I left my record label, I really didn't have the support of that machine. You know what I mean? So, that caused me to kind of disappear for a while. It wasn't that I didn't know what was going on or I couldn't, jump in. It's just that I didn't have that support. Once I seen where it was going, I already kind of knew where it was going. But once it started happening, I was ready to jump in. I just didn't have that.
Puff was like reorganizing, and he really wasn't like going hard at that time anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then when I left my label, it was just, everybody, one thing I do recommend everybody that's trying to come in the game, always make sure you have that support, that label behind you, that big finger, that push, always have somebody who believes fully in you and not in just, the noun if they hear a song they like. Because nowadays they hear a song they like and they're like, oh, I'm going to sign you just because of this song, and I don't know if I have it after that, but...
and then they give you the 360 deals where they're taking all your shit, so it's like, come on.
Yeah. So you got to have that support, people around you, but, it is what it is.
In your next album, do you have an unreleased Biggie song, or Puff got everything?
Well, no. You know what? Actually, Puff and I have started to work back together because I'm the female face of Sir Rocks, and so I think that when because I do have some songs with Biggie on it.
I'm leaving.
You got who can?
Where you at right now?
Where you at? I forgot it.
Yeah, I'm about to send my legs over there. Where you at? Because I leaked. I remember when I did Realest Niggas for 50. Like that was a leaked record, and it was it was a verse Puff never heard, and he went crazy. I know you went crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think you've heard that either, right? Did you ever hear that verse that I did?
I think I did hear it.
Okay.
I think I did. I can't remember exactly how to go back. I think I did hear it.
But Puff never heard it, and I aired it on Hot, and he fucking humped the air and went crazy. And that motherfucker wanted to kill me. He caught me on he caught me on Saturday Night Live. Eventually, I had to do it with Fifth, and then he put me in a headlock and took me to the back. And then I had to snitch on.
And then you came out your pocket.
Yeah, I said where I got it from. But anyway, those days are over. But I can imagine like how many songs you may have of B.I.G. And I would love to be in the studio with you and get a boner in there.
Yeah, you sound silly. It's always a pleasure to freaking even though Big is my family.
Yeah.
It's like to be able to do something again with him now. It's like seems like always such a pleasure. You know what I mean? And it's like I was around greatness. I came out under greatness, and I was his biggest fan. And that's just like that don't happen. You don't normally get linked up with your, the person that you just like look up to. Crazy. So that was a blessing for me.
I know, man. But it's not like Biggie's not like Pac. Pac had like 500 records. So to hear that there may be another joint you know, there's mad people out there with boners right now in their car. They're about to crash. You know what I'm saying? Like you saying that you did other records with him,
and she got it,
and you have it, and there's possibilities that it's going to be on your next album, or you may leak it. That's a good look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't hold on to it too long, Kim. Come on.
Because right now I am like.
Let me tell you, I remember his old DJ 50 grand years ago. I gotta find this CD. That's the only thing. But he came to me years ago and was like, Kim, I got some stuff that nobody's ever heard before, and he gave it to me. And it's some crazy stuff one year, and I'm like,
you just
come on, Kim, get on the phone, yo.
I need that.
Kim, she just got
about raw gutter stuff when you was like in a tape deck near, like you know, he was so his voice was so potent though, so everything came across like it was recorded in the studio, but it was so raw and ratchet.
Wow, man.
Everybody's calling 50 grand right now.
He has some stuff.
Damn,
you know.
Your favorite B.I.G. record, Kim?
My favorite B.I.G. That's so hard. It's like asking me what's my favorite freaking.
There got to be that one record that made you go, ugh. You know what I'm saying? You got me going, ugh. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot, right? All right. How about this?
Ask me what's my favorite position in the bedroom.
All of them. We love you.
I love you.
You got that fatty.
Yeah. Okay. How about your favorite? All right. Because earlier we said, you know, we asked the people to.
Sorry, Kim.
Let us know about their favorite B.I.G. picture. My favorite B.I.G. picture is him rolling dice on the block with the Timbs on.
Oh yeah, that's an ill shot.
Classic.
That was ill shot, classic shot.
All the Africans bootleg that.
Yeah, that was crazy on everybody's T-shirt.
Umbata was like, hey.
Oh no, I like them all, but I like the one. This was like one of the first pictures of him. He was grungy because you know I like the grunge.
Right.
And he had on like this black, like it was what kind of hat, like a train hat. And he was holding it, and he was making a real grunge face. And it was like a black. He had on like one of the black fatigue jacket. It's an old picture.
Pulling it down over his face like grunge.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I
know what you're
love
talking. Yeah.
that.
Classic.
Wow.
Yes. That's what. So yes.
I always wondered how is it like when you have sex in the projects? Because you know Biggie was the project king. Like he was moisturizing. Is it cool to have sex in the project?
Who kid is not from the project? You know that, right?
I'm not from the project, yo. I don't know nothing about that.
You so silly.
Who kid? You never even been in a project, have you?
Cool.
Nah, never. Nah, but you know, I mean, you know what's crazy? I have Faith Evans up here, and you know, she told me like, you know, you guys are cool right now, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the last dickhead on the planet that didn't know that you and Big was together, and she didn't know. So I brought it up to her, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, you was like,
she was like, yeah, because Faith was like, yeah, I didn't know that. You know, at that time, I was like, duh. I feel like an asshole.
You know, I let the synergy do itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if she wants to believe in her mind that we cool, that's okay. Fine, you know? But I have a documentary coming out, and I also have I'm also going. I got a book, and I get so many offers for the Little Kim story and the Little Kim movie, but I haven't I haven't really decided to move forward on that. But I got a book coming out, and actually the first book is called The Price of Loyalty.
Okay.
With St. Martin's Press, and we're really working, hard to get that out around the release of the album, So
you had issues with the movie that came out because you felt like that Kim
very much, that movie was a spoof to me. You know what I mean? And a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah,
I remember Jadakiss saying he wasn't really happy with it either.
Oh wow,
a lot of people.
Damn, that's crazy.
It was. Let me tell you something. When you beat me unjust, Oli, who was his best friend, who got murdered, who he used to roll with, who he made the song "Missing You" too,
right?
Wasn't even really, wasn't talked about in the movie, and that to me that was a major part of how he became who he became.
That was weird.
How he became who he was, So cool. It's like a lot of stuff. Like when you all the people who were so close to him knows that it just wasn't it. That wasn't right. But whatever. It's entertainment. And
it's a movie.
Hollywood. What about your documentary? Are you going to fill in those blanks? A lot of blanks.
I'm gonna fill in a lot of blanks, but a lot of stuff you still gonna want to know more about. Because
you can't say everything.
you can't say everything.
Right. D-Rock just called up here, and he even said that there's some inconsistencies in that movie too. So
exactly,
D-Rock was like, I don't know what the fuck that was.
And even with me being separated from the mafia and all that, just there was a lot of things that wasn't put in there, right? You know what I mean? Me and D-Rock is all right. We have a very casual relationship, cordial, put it that way, very cordial.
Yeah.
And no one can deny what certain people meant to Big and the role they played in his life, and me and D-Rock and Oli and a couple people just, you can't deny the roles that was played, but
he said,
I think God is going to do something amazing through me, which is reunite the real B.I.G. family.
Oh wow!
And have this story told correctly.
The right way, exactly. Because even he said that he only celebrates Biggie during his birthday because during this time, there's still no real information on his death situation. So he feels like it's just too tricky for him to be like happy during this time because everybody knows the street stories anyway.
Mm-hmm. At first, he didn't feel like that. He just felt like, I need to get out and get our mind off on this day because I know I'm gonna be reminded of it all day. I mean, that's what he used to tell me. So, but maybe over the years, he came to that because I was the one that they could not get me out of the house or do anything on that day. Yeah, Rock could tell you, they could not. They'd be like, you don't need to sit here like this. Rock is the main one, and Steve needs to be like, you can't sit here like this. I was like, nope, I'm not. Y'all go ahead, whatever. And they would go, whatever, try to get their mind, because they know they would hear his voice all day. They would hear about him all day, and they just didn't want to be sitting. But me, I never did it. But today is the very first day I'm going to be at Glass.
Wow.
And it's a day show. Today is the very first day. Anybody can contest that. I've never done anything on March 9th.
Right, that's right.
What time is
you
it
and
at?
Mr. C at the day party at Club Glass in Flushing, Queens.
Ooh, she called me before she went on stage.
She went on. And I know.
Yes,
I already know.
Yep. I'm not scheduled to be there till probably around 5.
Okay.
I'll be there about that time then too.
Okay.
I like
come rock with us and have some fun, and we hear that good sticky music.
I love Kim. Kim is the only one that really she's so you really believe in the street laws. Me, I'm pussy. I would have been like, yo, I'm not going to jail for nobody.
Kim, this goes for niggas and bitches too. Take your lessons from Kim.
Kim, this is me right here.
I came up a certain way, man. Let me tell you something. Literally, people be like, I was brought up, but I was literally brought up by wolves.
Yeah.
Literally. You see the movies with the baby and the wolves around him. I was literally brought up by them.
Yeah.
Literally. So, it was hard for me to not be who I was because, it's just, and not only that, but I care about people that, even if I'm not cool with them at the time, it's like I'm a real loyal person, and I care about people's lives, and especially if it's, it's just like, it's just how it is, I'm a loyal person. Sometimes I'm loyal to a fault, but,
Is it before you disappear out of here? I'm glad that I witnessed you and 50 Cent making up in Australia, first time on stage doing Magic Stick. That was kind of big to me. I thought that beef was reckless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
But when I saw you came out, first the booty came out before her.
The booty performed before her.
The booty was before me, like,
yo,
what got it going on? What?
Oh my God.
What? And the fifth was like, Fifth,
Magic Stick,
old school shit. Yo, that was like, I thought that was classic, and I'm glad I witnessed, you guys getting rid of all that bullshit beef shit, and you performed on stage. I've always wanted you to perform that. He's always done one verse, and it just felt ill to actually see both of you
incomplete.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's so funny because people, I'm sure 50 already tell you, but we were so cool before all the craziness. We always, I think, genuinely liked each other, just as an artist, as a person, as as everything. I think we genuinely liked each other, but it was just a lot of bull in the middle of it, and
It's all good, man. I'm glad.
It's all good now, baby.
I'm glad. Now you and Miley Cyrus, you smoking weed with her.
Yeah.
Records and shit. Miley. Pop that Miley. Woo! Right? You've hung out with her. What do you think of the new Miley though? She shaved her head. She's like rebellious. She's not like the Bieber bullshit. Like she's.
Why I just love her because at the end of the day, whether we feel is right or wrong, this is what the heck she's feeling, and she's being real about her feelings. She's not just going with the flow and because, you know, this is what, you know, me, her, whatever. I mean, some people would say, well, I gotta get my money, but she rich as fuck. She don't need it. She ain't about the money. She don't give a fuck.
Right, man. That's true.
I be hanging with her dad. Her dad is like my homeboy.
You hang with her dad and not the daughter?
Nah, the dad be giving me fish in L.A.
Oh, okay.
A better rice. You be like, you want a better rice? Okay, I'm gonna cook a better rice.
So I can appreciate her realness and her genuine feelings coming out of who she is, you know? That's why I appreciate her so much. And, you know, whether people feel like it's wrong or right, you know? So it's like...
I want you to snitch on how many bank accounts you cleaned out from these sucker niggas out there. I need a list of 20 people. You don't have to say it now. You don't have to say it now, but I need a list of those 20
sucker niggas, right?
Not the ones that you love, but the suckers. You know what I'm saying? Get money. Get money.
Yo.
I respect every man that I was with. Finally taking care.
Come on, Kim. You got to say some of them were suckers.
Shout out to Miami.
No. I look at them as real men. When
okay.
You say, yo, I appreciate you just being a queen, and you listen. I want to make you smile today. You know, here's this Lamborghini, here's this Bentley.
Get money.
Fuck niggas.
That's what a man's supposed to do if he it.
Pay that shit, nigga.
Like, that's true.
Well, so what? I'm not a man because I can't do it. Kim, what are you talking about?
This is what you are, PR.
A man saying he can't do it, and if he could, because I tell you, I've been with men that couldn't do it. You know what I mean? That, you know, and I've had that. Like, it's one thing to not be able to do it. I could deal with a broke guy because you know what? Any day now he could become rich, but I can't deal with a stingy, cheap motherfucker.
Well, Kim, I ain't stingy and cheap, but I'm broke right now. What's up? You single, baby?
Get money.
You stupid. I respect that. Let me tell you, I'm the type of girl that when a guy take care of me and, you know, he's in a slump or whatever, or he can't, or he like that, something happened, I'm going to always be there to hold him down. And then it'll be my turn to take my money and be like, here, baby, hold this.
Oh,
get
man.
right. Get on your feet. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot
Kim,
of
what
sense.
you drinking tonight? Because I'm going to buy you a bottle, baby. You're going to be like, that's Coach PR right
get you
there.
a Corona.
Yeah.
This nigga.
I didn't say what.
She don't drink Corona.
No, bottle of Heineken.
I hate beer.
She's not Dominican.
Beer.
She drink beer, she said.
Oh, you do you?
Beer, I hate beer.
Fuck out of here.
I like the Ciroc. I like the Malibu. You know, that's on the, you know, for the guys who can't come out, who get out for the guys who can't, you know.
Don't give her no Corona, PR.
Yo, I will see you tonight with a case, a 6-pack of Heinekens and Coronas, Kim. And we gonna be happy.
You know what I'm bringing. Yo, we love you up here. I'm about to go into the B.I.G. classes. R.I.P. B.I.G. Thank you for your time, yo.
Thank you, Kim. We appreciate you and love you.
You know, this is your radio show.
And got to come up here live with you and Tiffany Fox, man.
Yeah, bring your asses.
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah, don't leave the asses at home.
Nah, we need the asses.
I can't with y'all.
R.I.P. B.I.G. Thank you, Kim.